Miami aliens were real. On January 5th, 2024, shoppers at a Miami mall experienced what could be described as a real-life horror movie. The night had been going smoothly until suddenly chaos broke out in the mall. People were running in all directions, women and children screaming. At first, it seemed like a fight had broken out, but then, according to testimonies from eyewitnesses, what really transpired that day was truly supernatural.
It's like crazy to just see all these people running back, fat chicks, old ladies, like I'm talking about moving. I looked back, it looked like a shadow, but it was solid at the same time, like a few shadows, but they were solid at the same time. And it almost looked like they was coming our direction, like they was chasing us, but they was disappearing and reappearing closer. I'm like, yo, what? We start really moving. Next thing the police is trying to get all the people that ran out the mall. They like trying to detain these people, whatever. A lot of people saying, why didn't nobody film and all that? When that type of is going on, like some paranormal.
Here's about the only footage that exists of these aliens online.
Clearest photograph of the creature that was allegedly seen in Miami.
Okay.
Oddly enough, the man said the strange thing about this encounter.
Okay, no, there's no way this is real. No way.
Photographs, the creature appears to be transparent, and this matches what other residents have said. One resident said that this creature that was seen suddenly became transparent and appeared see-through, while another said that they tried to follow it, but it's...
Just so you know, the reports about the giants weren't just from this guy. There were several people, both online and offline, who reported seeing giants in this mall that same night. It was hot, trending news. But then, surprisingly, when news outlets wanted to report this case, they said the commotion was caused by teens fighting. People who claimed to have seen something were regarded as crazy, and even police didn't bother to go into the mall, but were detaining people instead. And just so you know, this is the first time cops have shown up en masse for an event like this. I mean, just check out how many cops lined up for this event. Why would so many cops come out if truly they were here to stop teen violence? Why? The only logical explanation here is that law enforcement dispatched so many cops because this was a code red. Extraterrestrials had been sighted by ordinary people in broad daylight, and they had to contain the situation. However, the cops weren't there to contain the giants. Instead, they were there to contain the people. You see, several reports and statements from citizens mentioned how police were arresting some people and confiscating some phones. Imagine you just get out of such a traumatic experience only to get arrested or have your phone seized. Interestingly, no one had clear footage of the Miami demon giants. In fact, absolutely no footage of this event exists, which is why many find it hard to believe giants really came out that night. But still, even the so-called teen violence story doesn't pan out either, because no footage exists also. It's just the news saying bulls and shit. Anyways, the theory, based on eyewitness testimonies, is that the government, through the police, made sure no one who had good footage of the event made it out of the mall with the phones. And then, again, there were some people who made it out and posted their videos on social media. But mysteriously, these same people deleted their videos a day or two later. Some of them had their entire accounts banned. It was just crazy. Also, even this guy who you just saw in the video was one of the people who posted their videos from the mall. But you'd be shocked to know that this same guy came out a few days later with another video claiming he was lying and everything he saw was fake. I couldn't get the video because even that one, too, seems to be unavailable on the internet anymore. But frankly, he looked scared in that second video, like he was being forced to say what he was saying. Word on the street is that these people who posted the truth were all forced to take down their videos by the men in black. I'm sure you know who I mean. I wouldn't want to say it plainly to prevent my channel from getting taken down, too. So, maybe some sinister people went behind the scenes to force these people to take down their videos, and it would be the same group of people who forced the media and police to lie about the whole thing. And just in case you were already believing their lies, Here's a real-life recap of what happened that night from an eyewitness. This man didn't just see the giants, but also came into contact with one of them. Note, what you're about to hear is a direct quote, and nothing has been edited or amended in his story. I was at the Bayside Marketplace on New Year's Day. To those who don't know, something unexplainable happened that night. Something that the authorities covered up and put off as teens starting a riot. While I wish that were the case, it's far from the truth. I don't know if putting this out there is the best idea, but I can't hold my tongue any longer. You see, I'm a construction worker in the Miami area. While I don't have any children of my own, I have a little sister who means the world to me. She's an honor student with straight A's who's about to go off to university. While I spent my youth staying in trouble, she studied hard. And before she leaves, I wanted to do something nice for her. That evening, when I got off of work, I planned to go to the mall and buy her a nice handbag. Little did I know, something happened there that changed my entire life. As I pulled into the parking lot, the moon shone bright in the sky. Cars were parked as far as the eye could see, though this was nothing new, as places like this constantly stayed packed. I walked in still wearing my dirty uniform with my name tag printed on the chest.
People filled the floor, shopping and celebrating the new year with friends. I wasn't much of a shopper, so I planned to grab the bag and go. I walked into the store and saw the many purses they had in stock. Some wore price tags that climbed into the tens of thousands. While I did admire my genius little sis, I didn't love her that much. I could feel the eyes on me as I looked around. This place was usually for a higher class of people, but regardless, I found one that was within a reasonable price range. It was white and had one of those famous designers' names embroidered onto it. It seemed perfect for a nice-looking young girl like her. I grabbed it and walked over to the register to pay. The preppy woman had a look in her eye like she was afraid to touch me. But it didn't matter. I was proud of my sister, and she deserved to be rewarded. After she bagged the purse up, I was ready to leave. But that's when it happened. I saw people running in droves, their faces filled with terror and shock, not looking back no matter what. I walked into the confusion to see what was going on. That's when I saw them, strange shadow-like creatures walking through the mall. There were about 5 of them, and they all had to be at least 12 feet tall, all slinking around like creatures from a sci-fi film. With a fight-or-flight response, I turned to join the crowd in running, dropping my sister's purse like it was yesterday's trash. But as I began running, one of those creatures towered above me. I stood frozen in terror. The entity looked down on me with purple orb-like eyes. Before I knew it, I began to float up into the air. The strange being lifted me high enough to match eyes with it. The smog-like substance it seemed to be made of began flooding my mouth and nose. I thought I was a goner, but oddly enough, I could still breathe. In my head, however, my mind began playing my thoughts like a movie. From my childhood all the way to my adult years. All the good and the bad, I relived it all in a single moment. At first, I thought it was my life flashing before my eyes, but I soon realized that this being was watching with me, learning everything it could, even going through my darkest and most vulnerable thoughts. After what seemed like forever, I was placed safely back on the ground. I then stood in shock as the smoky creature slinked away and disappeared, joining the other creatures that had invaded the sprawling shopping center. Once it was over, I sprinted out of the mall, honestly feeling violated and terrified by this whole experience. Outside, cop cars lined the streets in an unbelievable turnout. There was no doubt in my mind they had to be preparing for war, in an attempt to protect and drive these horrible invaders away. But sadly, I would be sorely mistaken. As time passed, I began to hear them talking about a riot being started, that a bunch of teenagers were throwing fireworks and fighting. I was naturally confused. There were never any rowdy kids. There weren't any fireworks either, just ungodly beings not from this world. Why were they trying to hide it? I would attempt to talk to several officers, but they didn't want to hear it. They all blew me off and looked at me like I was insane. The story was posted by a Reddit user, and many others commented his words were true, as the details of his story tallied with that of several others. But then, if people truly saw these things, what does it mean for humanity? Are we really safe? Has the alien invasion already begun? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Bye for now.